After years in corporate life, I decided to let go and create something more meaningful. This channel is my journey of exploring passions, building community, and discovering what I want this next chapter to look like. Join me as I figure it out and maybe help you design your next chapter too. Hi, I'm Penny from the Unretirement Project, and if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that about 1 year ago, I left my very stressful, very demanding corporate job and moved into another phase of my life where I wanted to design kind of the next chapter of my life. I wanted to have time to explore things that I enjoyed. I still needed to work, so I had to figure that piece out, but I didn't have the demands and the stress financially that I had when I was younger. So I had the opportunity to look for something different, sort of redesign my life, and now I can say that my life looks completely different. So welcome. If you like these videos, please remember to hit subscribe below. And I want to get started talking about a little bit about my backstory. And this video is about kind of when you're deciding to make that decision to maybe jump ship or transition into something new, some of the things that you need to talk about, especially if you're feeling stuck and kind of powerless to do anything. Okay, as many of you know, I was in a corporate job, very fulfilling but very demanding, very high stress. I had worked for years to get to where I was, and talked about saying yes to everything at work, trying to please everyone, not having very good boundaries. And by the time that I got to where I was wondering why I wasn't feeling fulfilled. In fact, I was feeling exhausted, starting to feel burned out, starting to wonder, why did I work so hard to be here? If I had my position from 10 years ago, would I be actually happier because I had more time to spend on my own time? So that's kind of what I was feeling like. Also, I was watching my parents age and how quickly they were aging. I was figuring out that things weren't going to get easier at the job place. In fact, every year it brought new pressures, new challenges, new demands. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this sustainable for me? I was fortunate in that, my children were grown, so I didn't have the pressure of trying to be there for my kids. But really, the hours were so crazy that it felt like I came home to sleep and then go back to work, even working on the weekends, working late at night. It just wasn't sustainable. And, there comes a time when, yes, the money is good, but you start to think, is it worth your life, basically? If your job takes over your whole life and you're just living to work, is that amount of money truly worth that sacrifice? And there were so many things that I wanted to do and I wanted to pursue. I love to travel. There were things at home that I enjoyed doing, gardening and cooking and baking, things like that, hobbies that I wanted to do more of and become better at. I wanted to learn a foreign language. I wanted to, read books, be able to have the time to read books and get together with friends, right? So about a year before I left, we had a change in management and it felt different at work. And I started to think, okay, this might be the right time then. And I started to look at, okay, I still need to bring in some income. Fortunately, I didn't have the pressure of replacing my old income. I figured that when we sat down, my husband and I, to do some financial planning, it's like, well, we could be okay. If we're a little careful, a little conservative, It would be even better if I brought in X amount of money. And I thought, okay. So I started looking at some other things that I could do. And I wanted to work from home. I wanted to be my own boss. I've always had kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. So the idea of kind of starting my own business was really appealing to me. But I knew that I didn't have a I didn't want to start a business that would take me 7 to 8 years to realize profit from it. I wanted to start a business where I could earn money right at the start, pretty much. And I had done some bookkeeping before for a family business for quite a few years. I really enjoyed that. And I thought, why don't I look into that? Because I know that there are bookkeepers who work just online. And I looked into it. I took a course on it, kind of slowly worked my way through it, became familiar with QuickBooks Online. And by the time that I left my job, I was ready to pick up some work as an independent contractor to start with, and then work my way into finding my own clients. So it has worked out very well for me. It's a type of work that suits me. I enjoy it, and I'm not tied down. I can do it from anywhere. Even if I want to travel, as long as I have good Wi-Fi, I can take my laptop with me and my double screen setup, and I can work from anywhere. So that has worked really well. I feel very fortunate that, I chose that, and it's working out really well. But had it not worked out, I know that I am resourceful, and I would have found something that would have worked eventually. So I don't think that you need to put pressure on yourself to choose the right thing the first time out. It could be some exploring, it could be some starting things and thinking, yeah, this isn't quite exactly a good fit for me. So there's lots of things. And, I have lots of ideas and things that, oh, that sounds neat and that sounds neat. Who knows? Maybe eventually I'll do other things as well. And it doesn't always have to be one thing that you do that brings in money, but you can do several things. I've always thought that, I'd love to start a cooking channel or cooking lessons for kids and teach them the basics of cooking and baking. I think that would be a lot of fun and would really fit in with my background as an educator. So there's lots of things, but now I have the time to kind of really think about and delve into, well, how would I do something like that? The reason why I do these videos is, one, it's so much change that I went through kind of in a short period that I really needed to kind of verbalize and think through and process a lot of ideas. When I left my work, I thought, oh my gosh, am I going to be stressed out about money, the financial situation? Am I going to feel like I've lost my identity and be kind of adrift? Am I going to lose all my friendships and feel isolated? All of those things I wondered about. So I thought, what better way than to kind of document my journey and could talk my way through those things and as a way of kind of processing. And that's worked out really well. The other thing is, I know there's a lot of you out there that are in the same situation. Some of you might feel kind of hopeless, like, okay, I'm stuck in this. I can't, there's no way that I could leave it. Maybe you've got financial pressures, or you're the main breadwinner and you have to kind of stay on that hamster wheel for a while. And I just wonder if, even if you are stuck in a situation for a while, if you can set yourself up so that as soon as possible you could transition to something different, or you could start to make it better in a way in your current situation. Because I know I could have done, looking back, I could have done some things differently, like set boundaries, say no more often, work on the kind of work things that would make life easier in the long run, even though it felt like I didn't have a minute to spare, those types of things. So those are some reasons why I create these videos. But So let's say you're in a position right now where, you know, you're starting to think about, what if there's something different for me? What if I need to make a decision here? I'm kind of scared, but I'm not feeling really happy where I'm at. I'm yearning for something different. What are your choices? It really comes down to three decisions. The first decision is do nothing. There's nothing wrong with doing nothing. You'll continue to feel your same thoughts. Those thoughts might get stronger, those feelings might get stronger. But if you decide to stay where you're at in your current situation, then at least there's no, well, what ifs, there's no, what would happen if, there's no thoughts of, sort of disaster planning. There's no stress and anxiety about what would I do, or what if I pick something and it went wrong. Okay. So you alleviate a certain type of stress that way about all the unknowns, right? You know your situation now. But on the downside, if you're unhappy, if you're feeling stressed, those feelings are probably going to intensify. Okay, the second thing you can do is change the situation that you're in right now. So I mentioned that a little bit earlier. You can set some boundaries. You can start to say no. You can start working into a better job situation of where you're at, maybe a different position, a lateral move. You can practice self-care. You can sort of, instead of always going overboard and doing 110%, you can start to hold back a little bit and do what needs to be done to get the job done, period, and not burn yourself out. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is make a complete life change. It's thoughts of excitement, it's thoughts of anxiety, probably it's thoughts of being really unsure of yourself. There's some fear. You know that your life is going to look different, but you don't know what it's going to be. So you kind of have to have a lot of faith moving forward. You have to make decisions, which if you're feeling paralyzed, that can be scary. You have to figure out a direction. Remember, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to have a 100% have to do this one thing or else I will be a failure, right? You can try different things out, but it's change and it's a lot of excitement and a lot of fear at the same time. So I guess really that's where it kind of starts, is making that initial decision. Do I want to just stay where I'm at and figure it out? Do I want to try to change my current situation and make it better? Or do I want to make a complete life change and explore how I can design sort of my new life moving forward? I think back to when I was in the middle of trying to make a decision what I was going to do. I kept looking at my parents' lives and watching how quickly that last 10 to 15 years kind of goes, and thinking to myself, I'm 60 now, and so I left my job at 59, and I thought at 70, in 10 years, when I look back at the last 10 years, am I going to say to myself, gee, I'm sure glad I worked that extra 5 years until I was 65? Or am I going to think to myself, I'm sure glad that I didn't waste any time of those last kind of 10 good years of my life working when I could have been out enjoying myself and doing what I wanted to do? So something to think about. Time is precious. None of us know how much time we have left. I do know that as you age faster, and so you don't have, so you may not have a ton of time left to do some of the things that you enjoy, like traveling and things like that. So, anyways, think about that. And hopefully this will help you in making some of those decisions. Everybody has to make the right decision for themselves at the right time, but some things to think about. Thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully this has helped you if you are in the middle of making that, decision of what you want to do moving forward. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.